Hello. Hi guys. Hello. I realized today that there are so many perverts online. So lovely. I posted a video in this outfit um, walking, and there were quite a few men literally commenting on their preference of women's breasts rather than information about Ukraine, and I was like, I suggest you see a therapist, because if you're a grown-ass adult and that's what you decided to comment in this particular comment section, I feel like you need help. Um, but who am I to say anything? You know, what do I know about therapy? Hi, Diane. Hi, Leona. Hi, everyone. So, yeah, the news today is crazy, so buckle up, I guess. Um, Personal news, nothing. Oh, yes, no, actually. So you guys wanted to know what my dad sent me in a giant package. Well, there are two gigantic bunnies, one blue, one yellow, and I'll show it on YouTube as well. See, two giant bunnies, one blue, one yellow. It was not Tato in a box, no. No Tato in a box. But two bunnies, one blue, one yellow, and I figured I'm gonna call the blue one yellow and the yellow one blue. I mean, because I'm so incredibly, what's its face? Because I'm so creative like that. Hi, Gap. Thank you for listening to them. Cindy has some fluffy friends now. Cindy was confused. Cindy was so confused. She was like, who are these things and what are they doing here and why are they so big and why are you sitting with them? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They're very soft. They're fluffy. They're fluffy. I like them. To be fair, when I opened the box, I was like, what is this? They're so big. But they're very fluffy and I really like them. And they're blue and yellow. And they're very nice. I like toys. Hi, Lauren. So I'm excited to, figure out what to do with them. You weren't kidding. This is not something anyone expected. Yeah, exactly. No one. I didn't. No one expected this. My mom, frankly, was like, your dad called me and he was like, hi, I have something that I want you to send to Yulia from Poland. You're going to be very mad, but I'm just going to ask you, please send it. And then he rolled up to my mom's house, apparently, with these two bunnies. And my mom was like, what? And he was like, well, when I saw them, I'm talking about this. My dad sent me a surprise. And my mom told me to look for a giant box and that I'm never gonna guess what it is. And that it was a surprise from my dad. And, well, surprise it was. There are two giant bunnies, one blue, one yellow. They're very cute. I really like them. Don't get me wrong. They're just giant. Like, look at how giant they are. There's two of them. Cindy is like confused, very confused, and she seems a little threatened by the giant bunnies. tiny bit. I need to put the giant bunnies somewhere where Cindy can't like climb on top of them consistently, because she's just gonna just go eat them. That's what she's gonna do. She's gonna eat the bunnies, and you don't want her to eat the bunnies. The bunnies are too nice to be eaten. Mamusiu, можна я тебе щось попрошу? Можеш мені дістати ту другу водичку з холодильника? Ту другу водичку з холодильника можеш дістати мені, будь ласка? Дякую дуже. Also, guys, see, you know how I always complain about American AC? My mom hates it. She hates it. She hates it so much. It's на нижній поличці. She hates it so much. She was like, why is it everywhere? I'm sick. This is killing me. I don't like this. Blue and yellow roommates? No, John doesn't. But John would be like, oh my God, of course, Yulia. Of course you got some gigantic bunnies from your dad. John would not be surprised. You're just gonna have to live with it. It's what Cindy sees in her eyes. Yeah, Cindy sees it as like two yummy, gigantic toys. Although when they first arrived, she was like, excuse you? Who are these things? Why are they here? What do they want? Oh. Oh, that's cool. I wanted a tissue, but no tissues are available. Hi. John can get a green rabbit for Brazilian flag colors. Oh my God, yeah, that's true. How to pronounce my name? Yulia. Yulia is my name. It's Yulia. Yulia is my name. Like Julia, but with a Y. So yeah, how was everybody else's day? I'm going to, start reading the news. I'm drinking just like this cloud water thing. It's just just a carbonated flavored water. This one's grapefruit, mint, and basil. It's really nice. At least I really like it. But yeah. If you haven't seen my video today on my main account, please check it out. Also, funny thing is, so you know how my live access from my main account is suspended until the 3rd? Funny enough, yeah, Diane, they're bigger than I am. Funny enough, TikTok rolled out the live subscription feature for me, available since August 1st by invitation only. And I'm like laughing at it because I'm like, well, I can't go live until the 3rd. So why is that thing available since the 1st? Like, that's so weird. And also I messaged their support team and I was like, hi, well, you banned my live access literally for nothing. Hi, Dave. Thank you so much. And this time I wasn't even talking about anything that could potentially get my live access suspended. I didn't mention Russia once. And I don't know if they actually looked into it, but they responded to me, like a person responded to me saying, hey, we reviewed it further and your live access is going to be suspended till the 3rd. For hateful behavior. Oh, thank you so much, Carrie. Hi. Oh, August. Oh my God, that's so cute. That's a new one. Yeah, it's August tomorrow. Oh my God, my birthday's in a week. But so yeah, at least she said like your live access is going to continue being suspended until the 3rd. And you had like hateful speech and stuff like that. And she signed it like, thank you, Lola. So I was like, okay, maybe there is a chance that it is actually a human being. And so I responded to her and I said, look, first of all, this happens to me all the time, and I don't get reported by real people. I get reported by bots. First of all. Second of all, you do understand that if I say something negative about Russia, I am talking about an invasion where my country is being bombed every day. Third of all, I said, make it make sense to me. I report Russian soldiers who are going live on battlefield and talk about killing Ukrainians, and you find nothing wrong with it. I report accounts calling me a Ukrainian Nazi in the comments, and you find nothing wrong with it. Yet I said that Russians are miserable people in the live, and you think that that's hateful behavior? Make it make sense. So let's see if she responds, because that was an actual human being that got back to me. So I'm going to try and talk to her and see if she has anything more to say. Thank you. I hope she responds. I hope she responds too, because it's like it's ridiculous in a lot of levels. Yeah, so we'll see about that. People get butthurt over the simplest things. Weird generation we are in these days. What do you mean by that? Who is getting butthurt? Are you trying to say that I'm getting butthurt, or people are getting butthurt? No, people are not getting. It's not butthurt people who report me. It's Russian bots who report me. That's like a normal thing. Also, guys, to everybody who's subscribing today to this account, I also have a YouTube under the same name without its, and I stream nightly on YouTube and on TikTok. And on YouTube and on TikTok, and I do it all the time. So if you miss a stream, you can find it on YouTube. And also, this is my backup account, because my main account got suspended for the second time, literally for no reason, because I talk about Ukraine and, Russian bots report me. And мамуся Соня там намагається витягнути кісточку. I don't know if there is anything you guys can do. You can email TikTok. You can email a community manager at TikTok and mention my username and tell them that you think that you see me getting reported all the time for talking about Ukraine, mass reported by bots, and that that this is just, you can try to do that. But also, you guys, I know that you're most likely going to get an automated response, and it's going to seem like they didn't even read it. But it's good, because what ends up happening is they keep seeing my name, and they keep seeing people actually, consistently. I think that's how I got my account back when it was banned, because they weren't responding to me. And then when enough people reached out to them, they actually emailed me back. And they were like, oh, hey, you got suspended because you're under 13. And I was like, no, I'm not. Thank you for the compliment. I'm really not under 13. Hi, Brandy. Hi, Steven. Hi, Army Mom. But so yes, if you're just following me here, my actual account is Yulia without its. So if you'd like to continue watching my live streams, I'm live every day. But I'm only here temporarily until my main account gets unbanned on the 3rd, which is 2 days from now. So yeah. Hi, Natlin. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, more people went on YouTube. Thank you. Yeah, I can't talk about Band-Aids. It's hate speech, apparently. Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Better Thompson. Hi, David. was under 18. It's crazy that they keep banning you. I'll keep supporting you always. Thank you, Steven. Well, my main account is suspended from live for like another 2 days. But if you'd like to email TikTok and tell them that they keep banning me for no reason, you can email communitymanager@tiktok.com and tell them that they suck, basically, and maybe that'll help me. Thank you for following, D-Smush. Someone followed me on Twitch. So yeah. Thank you for following, guys. If you are new here, I also do a live on YouTube under the same name without its, and this is my backup account. My main account is just Yulia without its. Also, you look a lot like your mom. Thank you. My mom, I look, so like I'm my mom from here down like that, and then I'm my dad this part of him. So like I look like my eyes, my nose, and my forehead is my dad, and then my mouth and like my jawline is my mom. Although my mom has like a crazy jawline. Hers is literally, mine is like this, and hers literally goes like this. It's like so chiseled and sharp. It's quite crazy. But yeah, you know, those Ukrainian women with their jawlines, we can cut bread with our jawlines, you know. This is how we survive. But yeah, I hope that was a funny joke, or even if it wasn't, you know, it's a joke nonetheless. We're having fun. Yeah, we just booked a car to go on the road trip. Hi, Victoria. Yeah, so we just booked a car to go on a trip, and we're trying to figure out Airbnb and stuff like that. We are kind of excited. My mom's luggage is still not here, and she's not very upset. I'm very upset because she was like, "Well, see, if my baggage was here, you would have not only stolen the sneakers. I already know a couple of things that you would have wanted." And I'm like, excuse me, why are you teasing me like this? Why are you telling me that in your baggage that's delayed, you have stuff that I would want and I can't have it because it's delayed? But you're letting me know that you brought things consciously knowing that I would want to steal them from you, right? But it's okay. Well, this time it was actually like full circle. Normally it's my mom who gives me a lot of her clothes and I like steal her clothes. And this time we were going through my wardrobe and I had a lot of stuff that I bought last year that is really nice. It's new. It's all with tags and stuff like that. But it's just, I don't know, like I got it and I liked it in the moment, but like let's say I wanted to wear like a long skirt, and there is one type of long skirts that I don't like what it looks like on me. So as in like it's just like there is like it's either 2 inches too short or 2 inches too long, you know? And my mom likes skirts like that, so I gave her a bunch of these skirts, I gave her a bunch of like tops. I had 2 pairs of jeans because I didn't know whether I needed a smaller size or a larger size, and it ended up just being, you know, just 2 of these jeans now, so I gave her one of them. Where is Mom? Mom is asleep on the couch. No, Sherry, you're not late. We're still at the catch-up time. Also, hey guys, I'm going to mention this again, but I have this super cool platform. It's called LTK, and I've linked stuff that you guys have asked me about, and it's in my link in bio. Heroyam Slava. Hi, Jason. And it's like basically this platform where I kind of post things that you guys have asked me about, and you can shop them, like the eyebrow thing, you know, because all the bots ask me about my eyebrows all the time. I linked these vyshyvankas from Wholesales that are on sale. I linked the mascara I use. I linked this top. Then like some makeup that you guys were asking about. And then my coffee pot holders and stuff like that. So if you are interested in if you're interested in things that, you often ask me like, oh, where'd you get that? Or where'd you get this? So I will be posting it on there. So instead of you looking around the internet where to get it, you can just find it in the link. Also, my mom does not have coffee withdrawals because she has been drinking. She found a size of Nespresso pods that works for her, so she's been drinking those. And we need to go get her some more because she drinks double espresso, and the double espresso size is basically this, like that size, the yellow one, and that yellow one. You didn't link your smooth armpits. Oh my god, Veronica. Hi, Lola. Oh my god, Veronica. I'm dying. Smooth and fascinating. Speaking of smooth and fascinating stuff. So this company, Carpe, I'm sure that you saw them. So their ads are everywhere on TikTok. It's that deodorant thing where they have like a face deodorant, they have like a regular deodorant, they have a deodorant for like your scalp, they have a deodorant for like under your boobs, basically because like different areas of your body sweat differently. And I've seen them around and I've always wanted to try it, but never got to it. And so I got they sent me their stuff, and their thing was like, please actually like post a review about it, but like what you actually think. And I was like, that's so cool, because you're not asking me to like advertise you, you're giving me a thing to try it. And yes, I did say face deodorant. It's like if your face sweats a lot, you can put it on your face and it's gonna absorb the sweat, so you're not gonna be like sweating excessively. So if you're going to some, I don't know, to like a place you did your makeup very nicely, and you're going somewhere, and you just don't want to excessively sweat, you can put it on. And so they sent me their products, and they were like, hey, hey, like, please post a video with it, but like let us know, let us know what you actually think. And so my mom and I used it both, like, and actually, so we got to use the deodorant, and like I did not sweat at all. And I have this thing which is like, I was shook because I use one particular deodorant that's like the only deodorant that's ever worked for me. I can't wear synthetic clothes. If I wear anything synthetic, I sweat ridiculously. I will, Carrie. I sweat like ridiculously. And this is cotton, but it has like synthetics in it to be stretchy. And normally when I wear this top, I can only wear it in the weather that isn't like super hot because it just doesn't work. And I completely forgot about it today. I wore that deodorant. I wore the top. I came back. I did not sweat. I did not sweat at all. And I'm so confused. So I can understand why they're all over the internet, because they're actually really like, I'm shook. I'm gonna put the face thing on tomorrow, and we're gonna see how it performs, because I'm like, so it's unisex. It is literally unisex deodorant. It's like, it's not for women or for men. It's unisex. It doesn't have any scent, I don't think, and it's so good. I'm like confused. I literally was like, what? And my mom didn't sweat either. And we, oh, you have it. Oh, Tammy, you have Carpe? Yeah, all right. Isn't it crazy? I'm like, what? Yeah, isn't it good? Like, I'm so surprised about how it works. I was literally like, I thought it would be a gimmick. And it was just like, BS and it does not work, but it does. And I am so confused. I agree. I agree. I really liked it too. I'm like, wait. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a hot air balloon. Anastasia, my aunt, drew it for me. This tattoo. This tattoo has a crazy story behind it. I was I worked in LA, and I was flying back home to New York for good, and I wanted to get a tattoo, and my artist that I really like, I got this from her, this from her, and this from her, lives in Portland, Oregon. So I found a flight where I would have an 8-hour layover in Portland. And I basically flew LA to Portland. I thought I was going to sleep just on the floor at the airport for a while, or maybe it was like a 12-hour layover or something. I thought I was going to sleep on the airport floor for a while, go get a tattoo, and then come back to the airport and fly out. My friend Mark was in Portland that day because he lives in Bend, which is like a little further away. So he was in Portland that day. He came and picked me up. We went and got some Thai food. We hung out. I got a tattoo. We hung out a little more. He drove me back to the airport. I got back on the flight and flew back to New York. So I literally just flew into Portland to get a tattoo on my way back to New York City. It was like the longest journey I've had. It was so weird. So yeah, and this is how I got this. Did you bring your mom from Ukraine to the States? I did not bring my mom from Ukraine to the States. My mom got a visa and came to visit me. She's not coming here as a refugee. She's not coming here to stay. She's coming here for 2 weeks. I hate LA. Stephen, I absolutely despise LA. I will gladly get banned for hating on LA because that'll be justified, and I absolutely despise that city. I can't even call it a city. It's like a bunch of little it's like a bunch of little villages connected together by highways, and you can't even drive through them because there is traffic all the time. And you're going from one neighborhood to another neighborhood, and it takes you 3.5 hours. If you live in the east side of the LA and your friend lives on the west side of LA, you're not going to see them ever, ever, because no one wants to fucking do that. No one wants to spend 6 hours in fucking traffic. And also, like, it's like Disneyland for adults. Disneyland full of like cocaine and people who don't have real jobs, and people who don't understand like the concept of time. It's so freaking bad, and on top of it, it's hot. It's so hot. It's freaking hot all day. You can't breathe. And there's forest fires. It's just like there is so much. I hate LA. I hate LA. No one is a real person. No one understands what work is. No one has a fucking job. No one has a freaking job. And it's like, you're gonna be like, yeah, let's meet at 4. And they'll get there at 5:30. Like, what? And they're like, oh, I was just driving. Like, okay, well then leave at 2:30 if it takes you an hour and a half to get somewhere. Like, I thought New York was bad. No, I would never go to University of Southern California just because it's in LA. No. No LA for me. Thank you. Thank you. LA is not even generic. It's not even about generic. It's like no one has a freaking job. And people look at you and think of you in terms of Instagram followers. And if you have freaking Instagram followers, then, like, I don't know, and you meet someone and you just talk to them and you're like, oh, hey, let's be friends. They think that you freaking want to be friends with them because they're famous. It's like, dude, I don't fucking know you. I've never seen you before. I don't know who you are. I don't know you. I don't care. I don't care how many 13-year-olds follow you. I don't. But anyways, so it's just, yeah. Yeah, no. Screw LA. No. Absolutely no. It's like I came up to some dude once. I was at a bar. Here is the funniest, here's the best explanation I have of LA. Why go to LA when you can go to San Diego and surf? Exactly. Why go to LA, period, when you can go anywhere else on the planet? But here's like my best explanation of LA, right? I was at a bar. And this is a bar in LA where I used to go quite often, as in like to hang out with friends. It was my favorite bar. And I also ran into a lot of people from New York there, and I've run into a lot of people that I know there that I haven't seen in like years. Oddly, every single time I'd go there, I would like meet someone that I know, which was weird. And so I got there at this one time, and there was a guy standing there who looked incredibly familiar. And so I came up to him and I was like, hey, I feel like I know you from somewhere. And I meant like literally, as in like in person. I've met you in person, right? Literally, I would rather go to Boise instead of LA. So, Toby, you're not wrong. Toby on YouTube says, "Why go to LA when you can go to Boise, Idaho?" LOL, and I'm like, literally, go Boise. But so basically, like, I came up to this guy and I was like, uh, yeah, I feel like I know you from somewhere. Where could we have met? Like, what do you do? I was like, what do you, whatever? And he's like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a UX UI designer. And I'm like, I'm from New York. And I'm just trying to like talk because I feel like I've met him through like a friend of mine last time that I was somewhere, And, and he was like listing all of these like places where we could have met and stuff like that. And he was like, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so. And so I'm standing there like so confused. And then he's like, well, my mom has a YouTube channel. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I don't watch YouTube. At that point, like, I literally didn't watch like, I wouldn't watch anything like that, right? And so he already stands there all like condescending, literally being like, literally like, thinking that I'm just like some fan, whatever. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, it's pretty big. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't watch YouTube, but what's her channel? And he said that his mom is Tati Westbrook. And 3 days before that, I was at my best friend's house, and she used to love watching makeup YouTube. And so she was obsessed with Tati Westbrook. And ironically, in that one episode, she was talking to her son, which is that dude. And that's why he looked so familiar to me, because I saw him a day before that. And I was like, oh, actually, wow, you are right. I did see you on your mom's channel because my best friend watches it. And ironically, the one and only episode that I've seen was the one with you. And the second that I said that, that guy immediately started talking to me in a very different tone, like I was some like crazy fan who just like made all of this stuff up. And I'm like, I'm not even interested in talking to you anymore. Like, I just thought I knew you, but turns out I actually, literally, yeah, like, I know you from freaking from freaking YouTube. Okay, you win. But like, he was so condescending about it, as in like, yeah, you must have seen me on YouTube. And it was like one of those things where, dude, like, I don't even watch YouTube. And ironically, it was the one time The one time I was like, when he was like, "Oh, my mom has a YouTube channel," I was like, "Your mom?" Like your because he was like 20 something, like a 28-year-old or something, and I was like, "Your mom has a YouTube channel, what she do?" Because in my head, I was like, I definitely do not watch anyone who could have a 28-year-old child. But, hi, Scott. Good to see you. But yes, so guys, I'm not gonna play a song today because we should do the news. I'm not gonna play the song today because hi, Rebecca. Or rather, I'm not gonna play a song today because my mom is asleep on the couch, and my roommate is going to bed, and I don't want to be loud. So let me. So this is so interesting. My mom always wears like little things like this on her arm, and my dad got me these like Ukraine bracelets as well. And I feel like anytime I look at my arm, I for some reason feel like it's my mom's arm because she's the one who always wears things like this. You're wearing a shirt.
Yes, I do.
Oh, listen. Okay, guys, before I start, wait.
Is AC turned on?
Yes, it is. Wait.
Why? It's cold. It's gonna be 24 degrees.
Degrees.
It's cold.
Not Fahrenheit.
It's
Degrees.
cold.
Okay. It was hot here. Listen, could you please hang out with the audience for a little bit while I use the bathroom before I start?
Okay, let me take care of my hair because
Listen,
it's messy.
okay, look, my mom is sleeping. Indoor voice. There is your voice, and then there is indoor voice. You need to take your voice and make it indoor.
I can see your mom. She's so small.
I know, she's tiny.
Okay. Look, how can I see it? People would see, like, if I would do that, people would see my mouth on YouTube only. Indoor voice. People, don't be so strict. Hello, how are you? Hello. I've just booked haircut appointment for tomorrow. It is your bedtime. Yeah, my bedtime. I miss your last day. I need you to do some filming jobs in New York. Do you need me? Okay, I'm on it. I'm down. So, I can actually want to. Did you see Xena today? Okay, no, I don't. Yulia wanted to go live at 2 p.m. and then she saw like Xena. That Xena is live. I was like, what? We have common followers. I can't go live while Xena is live. Get a buzz cut. What? Trying to hook you up on Wait, who is Xena? She's another Ukrainian content creator. So do I have to create like ID, like ID? What? I know the social media, but I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. So I actually had party yesterday, my first American party with random people, with people who is like 30 and above. And that was so nice. Alcohol, drugs, but I'm sober, I don't drink. But I liked it. It was super nice. Girls were nice. Girls that invited me, and they were super nice, No drugs, of course, no. I can take care of myself, Yeah, Xena Zina. Yes, most heard it about it when you came back. What? Yulia was like yesterday, are you drunk? And no, she was like looking at me. I was like, no, I am not drunk because I don't drink. But I was like super tired. It was like 4 hours, yeah. Zina says she won't be going live every day like before, so Yulia doesn't need to worry. You don't have to worry because Zina won't go live anymore. What? You don't have to worry because Zina will not take your time anymore. She will not go live.
What do you mean? She will not go live anymore?
She will not. Someone said that you saw me drunk, Yulia. What the hell?
No.
Yeah, I can see that. You have a chat without me.
No, I texted Kat yesterday and asked her how to know if someone's drunk.
And we need to buy that.
She has a teenager, so I figured she would know.
And what did she say?
Kat, why would you do this to him live? That's so not nice.
It's so not nice.
This is how you get a person to not ever tell you anything.
Okay, yes, I agree.
Who did that? Vasil. Vasil. Anyways, a piece of pH paper. Oh, what is pH paper? Okay, well, now on to the news. Now onto the news. There was something that I wanted to. What's how? Okay, first of all, if you guys are not yet subscribed to YouTube, please subscribe to YouTube. Just not every day like before. Oh, I see. No, I was just talking. I was, well, half joking and half not joking because I changed my lifetime. Hi, Maddie, from like 7:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. because it's like much more convenient for me. And now Zena goes live at 2 p.m. and I'm like, girl, why'd you have to come back right when I just changed my lifetime to 2 p.m. too? No one's gonna watch it. Now I have to like change my lifetime as well. How to help me unban my account? Well, you can email community manager at tiktok.com and you can mention my username and you can tell them that I consistently keep getting mass reported by bots and fake accounts, and that it's not real people who report me, and that I'm not like producing any hate speech. I'm just talking about the war in Ukraine, and obviously there is a lot of like internet turmoil with that. And I just read the news, so you can just do that if you'd like, and that might help if enough of us do this. Hi, Luann. The time when my mom is good. She's asleep. Oy. Okay. So let's dive into the news because it's time. Russians in Olenivka burned Ukrainian POWs in their sleep, probably using thermobaric weapons. Judging by the pictures of the scene of the Russian war crime, it is clear that there was no strike from HIMARS because The GMLRS missile simply would not have left a single live spot in the fixtures, walls, and ceilings. The explosion would have blown everyone apart, not burned them alive. Most importantly, the GMLRS leaves behind a large crater, as we often see in the videos of destroyed invaders' warehouses. Here, it's absent. At the same time, the thermobaric weapons burned the victims, leaving the bodies unharmed. The Russians probably locked the door, fired thermobaric RPOA Shmel or MPOA ammunition inside through the windows, and then waited for everyone to die. Then, the Russian Federation invited experts from the UN and the International Committee of the Red Cross in the interest of investigating the strike on Olenivka. Additionally, the Russian deputy envoy to the UN said that Russia was waiting for UN Secretary General Guterres to react to the strike on the remand prison in Olenivka. He noted that Russian diplomats informed the UN Secretary General of the available information about Ukraine's responsibility for the strike on the Olenivka detention center, and also condemned the Kyiv regime's attempts to shift the blame for this crime onto Russia. What an enchanting level of cynicism, simply an incredible level. It's like, so the Russians did it themselves, then got mad that everybody knows that they did it, tried to blame Ukraine in it, and then got mad and blamed Ukraine and blaming them. What? Make it make sense to me, please, because it feels like, my mom keeps saying that she thinks that like the entirety of the nation is suffering from like oxygen deprivation to the brain. And my mom was like, yeah, it looks like all of these politicians literally have dementia, and I feel like they actually believe in what they're saying. Because I was talking to her and I was like, Mom, like one of the things that I don't understand with the whole like Russian politicians thing is like, how do they stand there with a straight face and say these things? Because they're ridiculous, right? And like they know that this is a lie. So like, how do they stand there and literally go like, oh yes, we are denazifying Ukraine? Like, that this is like made up bullshit, right? And my mom was like, I feel like at this point they believe it. Like at this point they truly believe it. Oh, yeah. It's crazy people. Crazy people. Saakashvili announced his withdrawal from politics. His lawyer Valery Gelbachiani said that the former president of Georgia is no longer interested in politics. Saakashvili is no longer interested in politics. His political resource is exhausted. His agenda and tasks have also changed. His main task is to monitor his health, to save himself from possible danger and death, he said. Saakashvili is the former president of Georgia who has been exiled from Georgia and who has been arrested when he came back to Georgia. Russian Federation will be forced to focus on Bakhmut, according to the Institute for the Study of War. Russian forces are likely to prioritize an offensive from the east on Bakhmut instead of trying to take Siversk and Slavyansk, experts at the Institute for the Study of War wrote. All indications are that the Russian Federation is trying to take control of as much of the Donetsk region as possible before the referendum, which they have planned for September. To do so, they will focus on Bakhmut. Nevertheless, Institute for the Study of War experts believe it is unlikely that the Russian Federation will succeed, even if they succeed in taking Avdiivka and Pskov. However, the fighting in these areas will intensify. Russian invaders do not stop air missile strikes on civilian objects in Ukraine, according to the AFU General Staff, Maine for the morning of July 31st. Consequences of the strike in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Russians shelled two districts of the region, Nikopol and Kryvyi Rih. Nikopol is the place where we've seen the phosphorus bombs yesterday that looked like fireworks falling. So those are phosphorus bombs, and Nikopol has been shelled every single day, non-stop, for about a month now. Every single day. In Nikopol district, according to the head of the army, Reznichenko, a man was injured, a private house was destroyed, and several dozen were damaged. There is destruction in seven multi-story buildings. A school, a kindergarten, and several city institutions were hit. 2 buses burned down, and the local auto company, up to 10, were damaged. Russia wants you to believe that of the large complex of buildings, only one was damaged where Azov prisoners of war were held. New satellite photos. Oh, thank you, Maddie. New satellite photos of the prison in Olenivka were published. So this is what it looks like. And Russia wants you to believe that of all of the buildings, this is the only one that HIMARS damaged. First of all, it's impossible because if a HIMARS were to strike into that section, everything around that section would have been destroyed. Everything. I understand that they don't have HIMARS and it's like too modern of technology for them to understand how it works, but none of this would have survived. And that entire building would not have burned down. It would have been like fully collapsed. It's just not how it happens. Russia tries to annex temporarily occupied territories in Ukraine. In the temporarily occupied territories of Kherson and Zaporizhia regions, the Kremlin's United Russia political party began to actively work. We can see that activities are carried out to clarify the so-called voter lists. In addition, they have opened polling stations for elections. The process of distributing Russian passports has begun actively. This is a complex of activities that Russia is now conducting in the occupied territories in order to prepare and hold a referendum, said Vadim Skibitsky, a representative of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, GUR. The plane of Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, flew out of Hawaii. Yesterday, it landed on the island, presumably for refueling, and now it took to the skies again. Whether Pelosi will visit Taiwan is still an open question. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Inside the building itself, it was definitely an incendiary explosion inside the building itself. Yeah, I agree, because first of all, HIMARS doesn't work like that. HIMARS is a missile. It's a missile launcher. So if a HIMARS were to fall on top of a building and strike a building, first of all, there'd be damage in the roof of the building. Second of all, there'd be a crater in the ground. Third of all, the bodies would not have burned. They would have, parts of bodies would have been torn off and they would have been everywhere. Or any other force personnel were even injured. Yeah, exactly, because they just tried to kill the prisoners of war. And also another interesting thing is Nazar, one of my moderators, actually sent me a video where a Russian journalist is talking to those Azov guys who are in a hospital who survived. And he's they're literally barely breathing. They're obviously in such weak condition, and he's asking them all of these questions about how do they feel and stuff like that. And then he's like, yeah, so what do you think? The Ukrainians struck you with a HIMARS. And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, your own. They struck the warehouse with HIMARS to eliminate you. And he was like, yeah. And the Russian journalist is like, yeah, what do you think about that? And the soldier is really like, yeah, HIMARS, yeah. Because clearly he's like, what? Praxis is saying also there were apparently no Russians injured, so they're trying to claim they left the POWs unguarded too, I guess. Yeah, okay, sure. So Russians left the POWs unguarded so they could just leave if they wanted to. Right. Yeah, also there's a phone conversation that was intercepted by the Ukrainian intelligence anyway between Russian soldiers where they were literally talking about how to do it. So Okay, so Syrian ship with stolen grain in Ukraine has been detained. The ship was detained in Lebanon, and the Ukrainian embassy authorized it. The grain was loaded on the ship on July 27th in temporarily occupied Crimea. Oh yeah, the plants behind me are like crown. I know I've seen them before. It's really funny. Um, why are they publicly announcing where and what Nancy Pelosi is going and doing? Not safe for her with the threats against her. I agree, Luann. It's really strange that everyone is like talking about it so openly, especially since China has been threatening to blow up her airplane, quite literally. Um, well, I'm sorry that the plant behind me is super distracting. It is what it is. I can't move the plant. It's right there. Thank you, Wilson. Um, okay, so as a result of night shelling of Mykolaiv, one person was killed, two were injured. The head of the Mykolaiv army, Vitaly Kim, also said that a number of infrastructure facilities were damaged, as well as private houses. I'm leading a congressional delegation to the Indo-Pacific to reaffirm America's unshakable commitment to our allies and friends in the region. In Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan, we'll hold high-level meetings to discuss how we can further our shared interests and values, said Nancy Pelosi on Twitter. In the morning, Russians opened massive fire on the Miropol community. The head of the Sumy Armée, Zhevitsky, reports more than 50 strikes. The shells hit a local farm. One person was killed, two more were injured. This is what that looks like. Okay, so on YouTube, Streamlabs is working, but it's so annoying because now it doesn't generate random codes anymore. I wonder if Squirrel is here by any chance. Squirrel, I know that we've tried so many times to make this work right. So basically, we use this software on for YouTube and Twitch, and it's called Streamlabs, and it's supposed to generate random quotes. But instead of generating random quotes, thank you, Wilson, it consistently keeps telling YouTube, consistently keeps generating this thing all the time saying to follow me, which is like so distracting because I don't want it to say it every 5 minutes. Like I feel like 11, when was it? So 11, okay. Yeah, so it does it every 10 minutes, Squirrel. It tells people to not forget to follow me every 10 minutes instead of every 45, and then the random codes are not loading. Like it just says random code command and then nothing's happening again. You guys have no idea. We've been trying to figure out this Streamlabs thing for so long, and it is not happening at all. Okay. Attempts of the Russians to move deeper into are supported by airstrikes. Head of the Luhansk Army said he had died on the situation in the region. So this is about Luhansk. Hi, Peter. The enemy is concentrating efforts on defeating military facilities and infrastructure, leaving settlements without gas and electricity, trying to improve the tactical position for the attack on Bakhmut. The Ukrainian military neutralized one of the Russian reconnaissance groups. Despite air support, the enemy attack was repulsed in several directions at once. In Severodonetsk, where they have been promising to fix electricity for a month and a half, the first TV set has been launched. On board, a car that moves around crowded places and broadcasts basically broadcasts Russian channels. It's weird. The sound is much better here than on YouTube. Oh, I don't know. Slava Ukraini, Herom Slava. Is anyone else stunned about the sheer waste of Russian strikes, like 50 shells to destroy a few houses? What's strategic? And does that serve? None. It serves no strategic end, Tina. Honestly, it's a great question, but the thing is, they are not good at strategy. They never were. What they're trying to do is they're just trying to shell it. So so people are scared. And honestly, like it's idiotic. They have been shelling a couple of times they have like destroyed objects that have been not populated by anything for like years. They've destroyed a couple of farms that haven't been functional for like a decade. They've destroyed a couple of empty buildings that haven't been functional for decades. They've wasted a lot of their own ammo. And that was like the whole thing, where the reason why they're using these anti-ship missiles now to strike buildings and they're not precision missiles is because, well, they've used up all of their precision missiles in the beginning of the invasion. Well, see, someone was arguing me the other day about how Ukraine doesn't deserve as much attention as like everyone else, because as much attention as anyone, and Ukraine is like getting way too much attention because like wars in Syria and Iraq, where for like years and years and nobody talked about it as much as about Ukraine, which is true. Like they should have been covered more. But like, why blame Ukraine in it, and why bring Ukraine into it at all? Just advocate for conflicts in the Middle East to be talked about as much as Ukraine is, right? Not like blame Ukraine. Thank you, Tweedledee. Thank you so much. How are you? Good to see you. But so yeah, like, and they were talking about that, right? And they were like, oh, these wars were for like years and years. Ukraine is a couple of months, like blah blah. And I'm like, no, Ukraine is 8 years and 5 months, 8 years and almost 6 months now. It's just that no one talked about it for 8 years. And also, when you try to say that these countries suffered more, first of all, don't compare suffering. Second of all, you do realize that in the entirety of the 8 years of Syria, there were 100+ missiles launched onto the territory of Syria, while in the 5.5 months of Ukraine, there have been 3,000 missiles plus. So, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Clearly, this war is very, very different. It's very, very, very incredibly different. Like, this warfare is not like a normal war. This is a genocide. This is a complete genocide. It's a deliberate genocide. Like, what are you talking about? First of all, there is no way, there is no reason to compare these things. But if you're going to say something that stupid, at least like know what you're, like at least know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh, why are there so many of these ridiculous freaking... I always get these ridiculous freaking things on YouTube where this like porn site freaking websites that come on YouTube. It's so crazy. I hate it. Okay, so the Ukrainian military neutralized one of the Russian reconnaissance groups, which is yay to Ukrainians. I think part of it is Ukraine has advocates, people like you who are paying attention and spreading the word. Yeah, there is this other thing where it's so unfair when people say like, oh, Ukraine gets all of this attention for like no reason and like blah, blah. Well, first of all, that's so wrong. We're in the middle of the war. Be happy that we were able to bring so much attention to this war. And so we don't, and that we don't let people forget, right? But also here is the thing. We, the citizens of Ukraine, are constantly online, thank you, Rich, making people not forget. We're forcing people to not forget. We're not letting anyone forget. It's not that the world is just paying attention to us. It is literally, we are sitting here 24/7 being like, no, we're not going to let you forget. No, this is what happened. No, you're not going to be talking about a stupid Vogue cover. This is what happened in Ukraine. This is what's important. Like, we are not letting people forget. So it's like everybody's saying like, oh, people are just paying attention to Ukraine this much because, I don't know, Ukraine is in Europe, or because Ukrainians are white, or because this or because that. Like, sure, that adds to it for sure, and it's unfair. But people are paying this much attention to Ukraine because our politicians are all on Twitter, our politicians are all on Instagram, our politicians are all everywhere, and they consistently tweet, they consistently like, they're doing it in a modern way. They're connecting to everybody in the world by keeping everybody updated, by like tweeting at celebrities, by tweeting at Elon Musk to get Starlink, and people like me who are just regular citizens who are just sitting here and not letting anybody forget. Hi, radio was fun. Good to see you. So it's like, yeah, no, we are doing our part. We're doing our part. That's why the world sees us. Okay. Over the past Essence, 6 BC warehouses and 3 Russian bases were demilitarized. Nova Kakhovka, Kherson region, minus an ammo depot and base. Enerhodar, Zaporizhia, hitting the base. Snihirivsky district, Mykolaiv, minus an ammo depot. Alchevsk, Luhansk region, minus an ammo depot. Pervomaisk, Luhansk region, minus an ammo depot. Chernobyevka, Kherson region, minus an ammo depot. Tavrisk, Kherson region, minus a base. Borislavsky district, Kherson region, minus an ammo depot. Daryevka, Kherson region, to be confirmed. So we have destroyed a lot today. More than 1,051 children suffered in Ukraine as a result of a full-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation. 358 children that were unalived and injured 693, a number that has increased. As a result of the shelling of Mykolaiv, Alexei Vatatursky and his wife were tragically killed. Alexei Afanasyevich did a lot for Mykolaiv region, a lot for Ukraine. His contribution to the development of the agricultural and shipbuilding industries, the development of the region is invaluable, said Vitaly Kim, head of the Mykolaiv army. Vatatursky, hero of Ukraine, owner of one of the largest companies, Nibulon. In 2021, Forbes estimated his fortune at 430 million when he ranked 24th in the ranking of the richest Ukrainians. Nibulon was in the 20th place in the latest rating of 100 largest companies of Ukraine, with an annual revenue of 25.8 billion hryvnias. So this is how the house of the Ukrainian businessman Vatatursky, who died during the shelling of Mykolaiv, looks like. So this is a private property. It's a private house, and they shelled it. Do I envision an awakening by Russian citizens about the insanity of Putin? No. Jeff Clark, 358 kids killed in child victims since the beginning of the war. Also, do you envision ever an awakening by Russian citizens about the insanity of Putin? No, because it's not just Putin, it's Russians as well. And Putin is the product of Russia, not vice versa. It's been centuries of Russians looking down on Ukrainians, centuries of different genocides, centuries of tortures, centuries of taking out our culture, centuries of taking out our of trying to kill our spirit, of trying to kill our language. So no, I don't think that Russians are gonna have an awakening to Putin's insanity, because I think that the majority of them don't actually think he's insane. That's the thing, that they kept him in power. They wanted him to be president. They allowed it. They allowed all of these things. And they're guilty because, well, they're also not willing to admit that they're guilty because they don't see anything to be guilty of, you know? In just a few days, the special forces destroyed 2 enemy armored personnel carriers, 3 Urals with shock drones, and also adjusted artillery fire according to the calculations of Russian mortars. Thank you, Aiden. So, guys, if you're just following me now, here I also have a YouTube channel and Twitch where I stream simultaneously with this. If you prefer those two, it's the same as this, but without its, so just Yulia. You can find me on Twitch or YouTube. And also, this is not my main account. This is my backup. My main account is Yulia on TikTok without its. And I will start doing the daily news and daily lives from there again in 2 days when my live access comes back, because I constantly get reported by Russian trolls and my live access always gets suspended. So this is an account I have as a backup. So if you would like to listen to me, if you'd like to listen to, not me, if you'd like to listen to news about Ukraine after the day after tomorrow, then you would have to, well, not would have to, I will be on my main account, and that's where you can find me if you'd like to follow me there. Also, Squirrel, can you please check into Streamlabs, because I will seriously block Streamlabs on YouTube if they. I will seriously block Streamlabs on YouTube if 10 minutes from now they're gonna say to not forget to follow me again, because this entire chat is just Streamlabs being like, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, follow her, follow her, follow her. And I'm like, God, I don't want to be that annoying. Thank you. Okay. The first ships under the grain agreement will arrive at the airport of Istanbul on August 3rd. According to CNN Turk, the first caravan will include 16 dry cargo ships with Ukrainian grain. Their final destination will be African countries. Attacks in residential areas in Mykolaiv and Nikopol, and the State Emergency Service shared a video with the consequences of these strikes. I will show them to you, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try to decrease the volume a little bit because my mom is sleeping, and I really don't want to wake her up. She literally fell asleep on the couch. Yes, it is. YouTube channel name is Yulia, the same as, yeah. Yeah, my mom is really happy that she's here. Of course, I'm really happy that she's here as well. It's been really nice to have her over here. I was actually gonna say, I realized that I've missed out on a lot of very simple bonding moments with my mom that most kids whose parents live here have, and it's normal. So the other day, we were getting ready to go out and just run errands and stuff, and we were getting ready. And so first of all, my mom's suitcase is delayed. So I was going through my closet, and I was like, oh, you could wear this and you could wear that and you could wear this. And we have a very similar taste in clothes in a lot of ways. And so she got dressed fully in my clothes and my shoes and stuff like that. And it was really nice because everything fit her. And it was cute because I got to I like borrowed her shoes because I liked them, and then she like took my clothes, and then we were putting on makeup, and she was like, "Oh, what is this eyeshadow?" And I was like, "Oh my god, try this, try that, try this, try that. Like this is such a cool thing, and that is such a cool thing, and this is such a cool thing." And she was like, "Oh, I use this like mascara primer. Like you should try it." And we were just like kind of perusing each other's makeup bags, you know, and kind of like doing these things, and it was just like such a it's like little pure joys of life that they're such small things, but I'm so grateful for them because for someone this is like a normal thing, but for me it isn't, you know? And it's so nice to be able to have that. Or like, I don't ever shop with my mom, right? Like I've had that experience maybe like 3 times since 2014, like 3 times in my life. And it was super nice because I was we went like to shop a little bit, and she needed to buy some like things, and we went to this like sample sale thing, and it was really nice because I felt like I was in high school and I was like 16, and I was running around with my mom around the store and being like, "What do you think? This jacket or that jacket? Or maybe this jacket?" And like my mom does these things, you know, where like I will wear something and she'll come up and she'll like roll up my sleeves, or she'll like come up and she will like take, I don't know, she carries wet wipes everywhere with her, and she'll be like, "Oh, wait, you have like a little spot here," and she'll come up and clean it. Or she's like so funny, you know, like I'll be doing something because I'm not used to parenting, right? I'm not used to somebody parenting me. I'm not used to like a parent being there. So it's really nice because I will be like walking Cinny. Um, I will be walking Cinny, and I don't know, like Cinny will be like doing something, or mom will like come up to me and she'll like take things out of my hands, you know, and I'll be like, "I can carry this," and she's like, "No, why would you carry that?" And I don't know, it's just like these parenty things that I just never get, and it's so nice to have them because like I don't have it. It's like when I try something on, my mom will come up and she will like fix the sleeves for me, you know, or she'll be like, "Oh, you can," like if I try pants on, she will like literally just she will just sit down. I'll be like, "Oh, do you like how these pants look on me?" And she'll be like, and like she will like, you know, she will like roll up my pants, or she will like roll up my sleeves, or she will, I don't know, like if there is a collar, she will kind of like be like, "Oh, you could do," you know, like I don't know, it's just like these little things. It's these little things that nobody pays attention to because you have them, and I do because I don't, and I think it's so cute because I don't know. It is very cute, and also like the way that she rolls up sleeves, it's so much nicer than the way I roll up sleeves. Somehow, like I can't do the same job, or the way that she folds clothes, I can't fold them like that. Like no matter how much I try. So it's just, it just, it's just very nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm very happy she's there too. Oh, hi Pamela. Hi Pamela, good to see you. Welcome back. Are you feeling better? I hope you're feeling better. Me too. I'm really happy I'm having this time too. Thank you, Sherry. I'm really sorry to hear that, Hetty. Yeah, it's the little things. It's for sure the little things. And oh my gosh, Cindy loves her so much. Cindy is like so obsessed with her. Cindy is sleeping over there with my mom. She's so cute. Okay, well, let's continue with the news, and this bit is going to be difficult. What happened in Olenivka is a terrorist attack. Podolyak urged not to call what happened in Olenivka a blow. One, satellite images show that only one building is damaged. 2. It was this building the prisoners were transferred to right before the attack. 3. Analysis of the photo indicates a thermobaric explosion from the inside. So Budalak says, do not call it a blow, call it a terrorist attack, because that's exactly what it was. Updated map of the situation in the east of Ukraine from European war experts. In their opinion, the invaders occupied Pokrovsk, east of Bakhmut. Also, fighting continues southeast of Bakhmut for the settlements of Varshina and Semihirya. We're waiting for official information from the Ukrainian General Staff. Yewleea promised a monetary reward for providing information about spies and traitors. I guarantee that if a real spy is detained based on your information, I will personally pay the person who was able to provide information 50,000 hryvnias. Video recording, 10,000 hryvnias. Such people, in fact, are also enemy agents of influence, he said. So, in Ukraine, if you know that somebody is a spy or traitor, like a treasoner of Ukraine, if you provide the information and that person who gets caught actually ends up being a spy or a treasoner, you get 50,000 hryvnias from this millionaire, and 10,000 hryvnias if you have video evidence that you can submit. Raise the salaries of the military at the expense of allowances for deputies of the Verkhovna Rada. A petition about this has already collected more than 25,000 votes needed for consideration by the president. So the people are asking, thank you, Wilson. The people are asking, the people of Ukraine are saying that military salaries need to be raised at the expense of allowances for deputies of the Verkhovna Rada. Honestly, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know, because right now everybody is working a lot, and I don't, well, yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know how much they make. I don't know if they make a lot of money, and if they do, then yes, 100%. If they don't, then I don't know. I mean, honestly, but they need to increase military salaries in any way they can. So, because our military is literally the only reason that we are here. A deputy, congressman, a deputy. A deputy is a congressman. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. British intelligence update as of 31st of July. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Oh my gosh. 31st of July. Again, every time I say that, I'm like, my birthday is in 7 days. Well, on the 1st, it'll be 7 days. On 28th of July 2022, Russia fired at least 20 missiles into northern Ukraine from Belarusian territory. This follows Russia's use of Belarusian territory to launch the main thrusts of its failed attempt to take Kyiv in February. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko continues to follow Moscow's line on the Ukraine conflict, stating on 21st of July that Ukraine must accept Russia's demands for the war to stop. His regime has become even more authoritarian with the expansion of the death penalty for preparing terrorist acts. His increasing and baseless accusation of Western designs on Belarus and Ukraine likely indicate that he has become almost wholly dependent on Russia. Oh my gosh, there is more of these freaking stupid things on YouTube. Hi, Charles. Yeah, YouTube spam, I know, I see. I think someone took care of it. Like, that's so crazy. Like, I don't understand how these things even, how they're allowed to exist. The invaders withdraw personnel from the territory of the villages of Verkhny Tokmak and Chernihivka in the Zaporizhia region. After the strikes of the armed forces of Ukraine on the night of July 29th, the location of the forces of the invaders near the villages of Verkhny Tokmak and Chernihivka, Zaporizhia region, the invaders withdrew personnel and equipment to other positions. According to the intelligence service of Ukraine, about 40 wounded were taken to the hospital in the city of Polohe. Almost all units were withdrawn from Chernihivka. Currently, several checkpoints and no more than 100 soldiers remain near the settlement. The rest of the occupiers, along with equipment, were distributed in the cities of Tokmak and Berdyansk. When leaving the settlements, the Russian military is trying to create the impression of a planned rotation. In fact, invaders intend to completely leave the village and have begun mining access roads, which is quite indicative of Russia, quite typical. I'm quite surprised Belarusians aren't doing anything. I thought they were different from Russians. They are. They were doing quite a lot in the beginning, in the background. So they did have very strong partisan armies, and they were doing quite a bit. They were blowing up railroads. They weren't letting Russians basically be. They weren't letting Russians access. Oh, sorry. And bring their. They weren't letting Russians bring their ammo through railroads. They were actually very useful, and their partisan movement was really great. But I don't know, lately it's been very quiet and it doesn't look like they have been forming any resistance at all, which is slightly strange because what it looked like to me in the beginning was that they were going to form a resistance movement and try to take the regime down. Um, if Russia was going to be losing, because that would lessen the ability of that would lessen a Belarusian president's ability to control them, but it looks like they've just stopped really. Yeah, people who messed with the railroads got life in prison. So yeah, but I think they've stopped their resistance as well. Harvest could be cut in half this year. Our main goal is to prevent a global food crisis caused by the Russian invasion. We're finding alternative ways to deliver grain, Volodymyr Zelensky said. Um, the invaders in the temporarily occupied Crimea are afraid of the armed forces of Ukraine. In fact, the enemy did not dare to celebrate the Day of the Black Sea Fleet of the Russian Federation in order to not to disgrace himself before the whole world, fearing the armed forces of Ukraine. They came up with the reason to cancel events on the occasion of the so-called holiday, the Ukrainian Navy said. With such statements, the enemy recognizes his air defense as incapable and casts even greater doubt on the existence of the Crimean Bridge. The Navy categorically denies Ukraine's involvement in this action. Um, an explosion occurred at the airport of the temporarily occupied Melitopol. It is reported that the Russian military used it as a command post and base for aircraft and helicopters. Also, a runway was rebuilt there for the needs of the enemy. On Saturday, power engineers from DTEK Akhmatov and the military of the Armed Forces of Ukraine returned electricity to 35 settlements in Donetsk region. Thanks to the actions of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, power engineers were able to repair the power lines destroyed by invaders. Light was restored for 44,000 residents of the region. The main work was carried out on the Bakhmut and Toretsk directions. The death of businessman Alexei Vodotursky was not an accident, but a premeditated murder. The exact hit of the rocket, not just on the house, but on a specific wing, the bedroom, leaves no doubt in the guidance and adjustment of the strike. Once again, Vodotursky has become a specific target, said Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the president's office. Podolyak believes that Russian barbarians are continuing their campaign of terror in an attempt to intimidate, destabilize, and break Ukrainian society. According to the Kremlin maniacs, the campaign of high-intensity, resonant terrorist attacks mocking of our prisoners and their injuries recorded on a video, a rocket attack on the officer's house in Vinnytsia, a thermobaric internal explosion of a barrack with our guys in Olenivka, and a targeted strike on a well-known person who has a direct attitude towards grain, should force Ukrainians to kneel down, open the gates, and surrender the state. We're not going to do that. There was a video of blowing up a car with collaborators in Kherson. There were 2 employees of so-called police in the cars. One of them died, the second was injured. According to Ukrainian intelligence, the car was blown up by representatives of the resistance movement, so guerrilla movements and guerrilla partisans. In the Bereslavsky district of the Kherson region, there is an explosion again. According to preliminary information, an ammunition depot was destroyed by information requires confirmation. It's like, what was this word? And here is a confirmation from Russian propagandists, and they purposely killed Alexei Vodotursky. Margarita Simonyan and Boris Rozhin called the death of a Ukrainian businessman Nazification because he supported his country. Recall that Alexei Vodotursky was 75 years old. Hi Nolan on Twitch. It depends, because if it follows by a weird random joke or something creepy, then you're going to be blocked immediately. So if this is something stupid that you want to say, think twice before you do that. If you actually need advice on something Ukraine related or something that you need advice on the internet on, then you can ask it. But proceed at your own risk, because you know, I am very used to a lot of trolls. Sure, go ahead. I was hoping to find your most recommended source of news. Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing. I don't have one most recommended source of news. Like, I read from this, compilation. It's a Telegram channel that's a compilation from Reuters, Bild, Die Welt, and like some of the most accredited news sources that exist. And I also show videos sometimes from a similar channel on Telegram. I do read Ukrainian news, but check her Beacons page. She has some link there. Yeah, I do. There is also, Beacons is linked on my YouTube channel. I don't know if it's linked on my Twitch though. Might not be. But yeah, I use a Telegram compilation for everyday news, but I also read news in Ukrainian during the day from a couple of publications, which I don't think that will help out a lot. But I will say, if you use Twitter, sign up for Kyiv Independent. They post a lot. And yeah, a very good source. They do post a lot, and they're a very good source of Ukrainian news. And there are a couple of journalists that I follow on Twitter whose updates I also watch. Also, to be honest, Malcontent is really good, and he checks and verifies all of his information. So if you want to follow him, he is available on TikTok, Twitter. He's not very active on YouTube, but he's pretty active on Twitter, and he is also active on TikTok. He's a very good news source as well. And also, hi to everybody who just joined. Welcome. Thank you for being here. The text in the photo says there is a deficit of places for burial in Nizhny Tagil, but they say there are no losses. So Nizhny Tagil is a place in Russia where where there is literally like a deficit of places to bury someone in their cemetery, but they're still saying that there are no losses. Hypersonic anti-ship missiles Zircon will appear in service with the Russian fleet. Putin announced that the missiles would go into service within the next month. Zircon can destroy both sea and ground targets at ranges up to 500 kilometers. The launch of missiles is um, envisaged from ships and submarines adapted for caliber missile systems. In the Danube mouth Bystry, as a result of a collision with an unknown explosive device, a pilot boat received a hole. Operational command south. The crew was evacuated by a small boat of the Marine Guard. There were no injuries. The circumstances of the incident are being clarified. The quote worked because Squirrel didn't. Thank you, Scott. Though the quote doesn't work automatically, though. The crew was evacuated by a small boat of the Marine Guard. There were no injuries. The circumstances of the incident are being clarified. The passage by the mouth of Bystry is temporarily restricted. Also, briefly about the situation in the south of the country. Our ground attack aircraft delivered 2 strikes in enemy strongholds in the areas of Bologorivka and Sukhoistavka. Enemy losses are being specified. The enemy continues to conduct military operations along the occupied defense lines. In the occupied territories, it conducts castling of forces, pulls up reserves, seeks out transport alternatives, trying to protect itself from our fire control. 17 warships and boats of the Black Sea Fleet of the Russian Federation are maneuvering in the Black Sea near the Crimean coast from Cape Tarkhankut to Novorossiysk, among them 6 carriers of caliber cruise missiles, a total of 44, and also 4 airborne missiles. As a result of the work of HIMARS in Brilevka, Kherson region, 80 dead and 200 wounded invaders. This was reported by local publics and later confirmed by the advisor to the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Anton Harashenko. The blow itself took place on July 29th. Yeah, thank you for everything you do, Squirrel. Squirrel, you're literally tech support, and the best tech support we could ever ask for. Squirrel deserves a huge round of applause. He's he is very, very good at what he does. Mykolaiv and its inhabitants are purposefully killed. About 40 missiles hit Mykolaiv tonight. This is one of the most extensive shelling of the city since the start of a full-scale invasion. I repeat, the city is purposefully killed, said Anna Zamazeyeva, head of the regional council. But no missiles and shells can crack the spirit of our people. The city is wounded, and these wounds are getting worse every day. But we will stand, she stressed. The threat of a missile attack from the sea is as high as possible, previously reported in Operational Command South or Pivden. Hi, Rosie. Good to see you. 17 warships and boats of the Black Sea Fleet of the Russian Federation are maneuvering in the Black Sea near the Crimean coast from Cape Tarkhankut to Novorossiysk, among them 6 carriers of caliber cruise missiles. Vitaly Klitschko was awarded the title of Honorary Citizen of Warsaw. Vitaly Klitschko received the title of Honorary Citizen there. This is a recognition of the heroism of Kyivans and the courage of the Ukrainian people, Klitschko said. He noted that Ukrainians are defending not only their independence and European choice, but also democracy, stability, and security of all Europe. We must defeat Putin's barbarians. Any freeze of the conflict will mean that they will come again, and the appetites of the evil empire will not be limited only to Ukraine, Klitschko stressed. The ceremony was held at the solemn meeting of the Warsaw City Council, which takes place annually on July 31st, the day of the Warsaw Uprising. On behalf of Vitaly Klitschko, his brother Vladimir Klitschko received the distinction, the award, basically. Also, guys, for those of you who just joined, remember I was saying that my mom sent me a package from my dad, and it was supposed to be huge, and there was supposed to be some weird in it. And my mom was like, "Oh, it's nothing like crazy. It's just very huge, so you should be looking for a big box." And we were all like, "What is it?" Right? So some of you have seen this already, and some of you haven't. But my dad got me these. So there are these gigantic bunnies that are literally bigger than I am. And these are, this is what was in that package. These 2 gigantic bunnies that are bigger than me. I feel like I should do a photo shoot with these bunnies. I'm sorry, I can't see you. Yeah, I can't see me either, but that's cool. Right? Isn't that hilarious? Yeah, literally blue and yellow. I love it. I think they're so cute. At first, when I saw them, I was like, oh my god, they're so cute, but like, they're so big. What am I gonna do with them? But yeah, oh my gosh. Oh. The thing is, like, I love toys. Like, that's one of the things that I'll never grow out of. And I love them. I still like have this thing for toys where I'm just like, oh, they're like, they're alive, they're real. But yeah, I love them too. They're so cute. Yeah, Russians in New York do launder money like the usual. And here is the video of the explosion in the occupied Sevastopol, where the headquarters of the Russian Black Sea Fleet was attacked today. Earlier, the invaders accused Ukraine of the attack and later admitted that the drone was launched from Crimea. It was decided not to hold festive events in honor of the Day of the Russian Navy. Oh, I did name them. So they do have names. The yellow one is called Blue, and the blue one is called Yellow. Because I am very creative like that. So creative. I'm so creative. But yeah, the blue one is named Yellow, and the yellow one is named Blue, and that's just what it's gonna be because I'm a very creative person and so creative. In the Novopavlovsk direction, the movement of individual enemy units from the Slavyansk to the Zaporizhia direction was recorded, the main thing from the summary of the General Staff on the evening of July 31st. Putin signed a new naval doctrine in which he called the United States the main rival of Russia and outlined the global maritime ambitions of the Russian Federation in the Arctic and the Black Sea. Oi, buckle up. The 55-page doctrine outlines the broad strategic goals of the Russian Navy, including its ambitions as a great maritime power that extend to the whole world. The main thing from the doctrine. The main threat to Russia is the US strategic policy of dominating the oceans and the approach of the NATO military alliance to the borders of Russia. Russia can use its military force in accordance with the situation in the oceans if diplomatic and economic tools are exhausted. I don't understand how these people can be so stupid. They're painfully losing in Ukraine. Painfully. And they're trying to threaten and take on the US? I don't understand. How stupid can one be? Like, obviously, you can't take on the US. I understand that at this point you're saying anything and everything to try and make countries believe that you must have something up your sleeve if you're saying this. But no one believes you. Everyone knows that everyone knows that you can't do anything about it. Everyone knows that you cannot handle the US. What? Okay, what they're gonna end up doing is they're gonna be the boy who cried wolf. They're gonna keep saying these things, and then the US is gonna have enough of it and be like, "Aight, come on. What you got?" And then they're not gonna have anything. Putin did not mention the war in Ukraine in his speech, but the military doctrine provides for a comprehensive strengthening of Russia's geopolitical positions in the Black and Azov Seas. Yulia, what do you think of the recent conflict with Serbia and Kosovo in recent days? I think that it is probably Russia's distraction in order for people to not talk about the it's probably a distraction caused by Russia, but also Serbia and Kosovo. That problem also has been heavily monitored by Russia. So I would say Serbia supports Russia quite a bit. So so it's probably like a Russian provocation in order to either distract from something new that they're planning on doing or distract from the war crimes that they have committed, such as the mutilation of a soldier, such as Mykolaiv, and such as the and such as such as the terrorist attack on the POW facility. I think it has a chance of turning into war. Yeah, of course, it does have a chance of turning into war, and then it's going to be Kosovo all over again, which is quite crazy. I mean, the world is losing its marbles because Russia is pushing everybody to lose their marbles. Did you hear about them threatening to leave the International Space Station and saying they're going to build their own space station? I rolled my eyes so hard when I read about that. Oh yeah, they are leaving the International Space Station, and it's like, you're not going to build your own space station. With what money? With what money are you going to build your own space station? You're literally wasting all of your money on your military right now. So, yeah, I don't. I really don't. I really don't think that they have, like, it's just. They're just genuinely. They are literally just out of their minds at this point. They just say whatever they can say. They're just like kind of like a kid, where somebody is not giving you their toys and you're like, fine, I'm gonna bring better toys tomorrow. And it's like you don't have the toys, right? You're just bitter that the friend doesn't want to give you their toys. Seem far more progressive than the rest of the country, though. I don't know. The cosmonauts actually did record themselves in space with like a portrait of Putin and with all of this like Russian paraphernalia. So I don't know about that. It also lists the Arctic Ocean, which the United States has repeatedly said Russia is trying to militarize, as an area of particular importance to Russia. Epic video from the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine as they shoot down the Ptero drone. On July 31st, the soldiers of the Anti-Aircraft Missile Unit of the Air Command Center of the Air Force, with an accurate shot, landed a UAV, probably of the Ptero type, which visually resembles an Orlan 10 and which was trying to carry out additional reconnaissance in order to correct enemy troops. Without international standards being monitored, I'm predicting some high quality engineering and that all Russia Station 2. Oh, yeah. Incredible engineering. Okay, so we took down a Ptero drone. Reports about armed clashes on the Serbian-Kosovo border. Serbian army put on high alert, according to media. As a reminder, Serbian documents have been declared invalid in Kosovo since August 1st. Serbian Foreign Minister Nikola Selakovic believes that the Kosovo authorities are literally preparing hell in the coming days for the Serbs living there. This is Kosovo. So this is Kosovo-Serbia border. Kosovo Special Forces closed the border with Serbia. This is what it looks like. Well, pictures of the colony in Olenivka show presumably traces of dug graves. Analyst Oliver Alexander and Bellingcat founder Elliot Higgins believe that the movement of soil in the territory of the colony occurred in the region of July 18th to 21st, that is, more than a week before the death of Ukrainian prisoners of war. That is, the invaders were preparing in advance for a terrorist attack in Olenivka. Russia does not respond to Ukraine's demand to return the bodies of prisoners of war who died in Olenivka. Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk said at a briefing in Kremenchuk. Upon the return of the bodies, the ombudsman made a statement. We, as commissioners, also made inquiries. So far, there has been no response from Russia, she said. Deputy of the party of the President of Serbia spoke terms familiar to Ukrainians about denazification. It seems to me more and more that Serbia will be forced to proceed with the denazification of the Balkans. I would like to be wrong, wrote MP Volodymyr Bukanovic. According to preliminary data from the media, Serbian President Vučić is preparing to send troops into Kosovo to protect the Serbian population, another special operation. Yes, I think that Ukraine should recognize Kosovo's independence 100%. So, yes, I think Ukraine 100% should recognize Kosovo's independence. Chechnya, Kadyrov is not going to let that happen. If Chechnya wants independence, then Chechnya is going to have the next Chechen war, which means they will have to take Kadyrov down because Kadyrov doesn't want independence. Kadyrov wants to be Putin's puppet and get money. Night Scott. For reference, Serbia is friends with Russia while Kosovo seeks to join EU and NATO. Updated, Alexander Vučić said that in the event of aggressive actions against the Serbs in Kosovo, Serbia will win. But if Putin falls, they're still going to have Kadyrov, and Kadyrov is literally a dictator. He's like the same. He's just as dictator as Putin. In fact, he sold Chechnya to Putin during him and his father during the Second Chechen War. They betrayed Chechnya, and Dzhokhar Dudayev is the real Chechen commander who actually wants independence for Chechnya and wants to be able to go back to his country and see it independent. Kadyrov also is not going to want Chechen independence because Chechnya had the first Chechen War and the second Chechen War. They basically were winning the first Chechen War, and Yeltsin asked for a timeout, basically, for ceasefire, or ordered a ceasefire. Then the second Chechen War started because Putin started it, and then what's his face? I think it was Ahmad Kadyrov, who's Ramzan's father. He basically sold Chechen to Putin and gave in on purpose. 2 missiles of the Iskander type from the Crimea were fired in the Odessa region, Operational Command South. From the explosions of rocket in the air, the so-called heat traps scattered across the territory of the Odessa region. They look like unexploded projectiles or are shaped like a dart with an orange tail. This is a rather dangerous thing. Because it is a high combustion temperature, it can cause large-scale burns. Several of these traps caused dry grass to catch fire. Rescue services quickly respond, eliminating fires. There is no information about the victims. The first gunshot wound among Serbs at the Jarinje checkpoint are reported. Terrible information is coming in from Kosovo and Metohija, the Serbian MP wrote. At the same time, all over northern Kosovo, the alarm churches, the monasteries have been continuously ringing their bells for half an hour. Sirens sound in the city. Okay, here. Hi, squirrel. Also, guys, let me remind you, if you don't follow me on YouTube or Twitch, please follow me there as well, because I do simultaneous streams here and there. And if you missed my streams and you want to hear the news about Ukraine, and you missed my TikTok streams, they're always saved on Twitch and YouTube. You can watch them there. And also you can watch them as far as a couple of months back, because that's when I started doing that. And also, this is not my main account. This is my backup account, because my main account has been suspended from doing live. Well, because I called a certain country an terrorist state. And then for no reason. So my live is going to be back on my main account in 2 days, starting August 3rd. So if you would like to continue watching my lives, please follow Yulia without it's on TikTok. And follow me on YouTube or Twitch, whichever one works for you. The Kosovo army plans to attack the northern part of Serbia at midnight. I think that we have never been in a more difficult situation than today. Why did I say this? The pristine regime is trying, presenting itself as a victim to use the moods in the world, the president of Serbia said. Thank you, Archangel. Serbian President Vučić intends to issue an emergency address to the nation regarding the situation in Kosovo. Serbia is pulling the army to the borders of Kosovo, including combat aircraft. In Kosovo, cars are not allowed into areas densely populated by Serbs. In the lower house of the U.S. Congress presented a bill recognizing Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. The authors of the bill focus on the terrorist actions of the Russian Federation on the territory of Ukraine. There are NATO members in the region where the conflict with Serbia and Kosovo is taking place. Yeah, well, that's like, well, first of all, I mean, if Serbia and Kosovo are going to enter a full-scale war with each other, then we're going to quite literally enter World War III, although we are in it already, but we're just in it on the territory of one country. But that's the thing, it's a domino effect, right? There is the threat with Taiwan. There is Kosovo and Serbia. There is going to be a couple of republics in Russia. Like, here's the thing, it is inevitable, right? This was just the beginning. And we all knew it. We all knew it. Yes, state sponsor of terrorism poses diplomatic possibilities. We all knew it. It's just, it was inevitable that it's going to go further because it starts with Ukraine. A lot of other republics that Russia has done this to are going to see what happened. A lot of other places that wanted independence are going to take advantage of independence. So realistically, Kosovo and Serbia, then there is going to be most likely Chechnya, because I did hear about partisans preparing to take down Kadyrov's regime. So that might happen as well. Then there is the Free Buryatia. There is the Free Buryatia Foundation, where a lot of Russian republics might want to start trying to get their own independence. So in the direction in which it's heading, it looks like there is going to be a lot of turmoil everywhere. And the fact that everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is not World War III. It doesn't concern us. This is just Ukraine. Like, no, Russia does concern you. It's not just Ukraine. Russia has influences in places where you didn't even know they had influences. And Serbia is a super close Russian ally. And they've had their eyes on Kosovo for the longest time again, and they've already had a war there, and it was a genocide already. So it's like, Russia does concern you, unfortunately. Well, North Korea, I wouldn't. Honestly, North Korea, I would not be scared about because North Korea is all talk, no game. I'm not Russian, no, I'm Ukrainian, but what I would be worried about is China and Taiwan. I would be incredibly worried about China and Taiwan. However, it seems like China cares the most about Chinese economy, and if China was to do anything with Taiwan, the U.S. said that they would quite literally intervene and step in. So I don't think they're actually going to try to do something. But we don't know. In the lower house of the US Congress, oh yeah, sorry, I just did that. The situation in the Balkans is heating up. Kosovo border guards blocked the bridge to Serbia. The Kosovo police closed the Brnjak checkpoint in the north of the province. Meanwhile, Vucic will speak to Serbian people at 21:00 local time. Kosovo police report that only 2 roads to Serbia are blocked. Other roads are open. Do you think US would beat Russia? Yeah, in a minute. The situation on the Kosovo-Serbian border, the Serbian Ministry of Defense declares that the Serbian army has not yet crossed the administrative line and in no way entered the territory of Kosovo and Metohija. Regarding the large amount of disinformation deliberately put on the air by the Pristina administration and spread through fake social media accounts and some internet sites, which say that there have allegedly been some conflicts between the Serbian army and the so-called Kosovo police, the Ministry of Defense reports that the Serbian army has not yet crossed the administrative line and in no way entered the territory of Kosovo in Metohija. Oh my gosh. YouTube spam again. Gosh. So tired of this YouTube spam. In Transcarpathia, they expect to resume passenger flights from the airport Uzhhorod despite the war in the country. 26 million hryvnias stand out so that we have a large, unique, and perhaps the last most important airport in the state. I'm sure that in a month or two, Ukrainian airlines, which are now based in Europe, will fly in the direction of Vienna, if necessary, Prague, Munich, said Volodymyr Chubirko, head of the Transcarpathian Regional Council. Recall that Ukraine and Slovakia signed an intergovernmental agreement which allows the use of instrumental landing at Uzhhorod Airport and will not require coordination with the Slovak side for each flight. Since the takeoff and landing, the airport strip begins and ends with Slovakia. Thus, the takeoff board enters the skies of the EU and not into the closed airspace of Ukraine. At first, they called the murder of the Tursky denazification and rejoiced, but after a couple of hours, they already changed their strategy and blamed Zelensky for everything. Propagandists change their rhetoric all the time, but the country of slaves believes everything no matter what they're told. So Russians were saying that you could fly from Uzhhorod to Lviv. I would rather drive from Lviv to Uzhhorod. I don't see the point in flying there. Thank you, James. But yeah, so basically, Russia is changing there so that in Mykolaiv, the businessman who was 75, who is one of the biggest agricultural figures in Ukraine, the one whose house was deliberately hit with a missile into his bedroom wing, they said that they denazified him, okay, because he loves his country, and then they said that it's Zelensky's fault that he died, of course. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen calls for an end to tension on the Serbia-Kosovo border. It is important to de-escalate and return to the negotiating table to find a sustainable solution. The only way to do this is through EU-facilitated dialogue to resolve the current crisis, she said. Russia also reacted to the situation around Serbia-Kosovo. We published the text on the statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation with the original punctuation. The decision of the authorities in Pristina to start applying unreasonable discriminatory rules on the forced replacement of personal documents and registration numbers of local Serbs from August 1st is another step towards the expulsion of the Serb population from Kosovo. The expulsion of Kosovo Serb institutions from there that ensure the protections of the rights of Serbian residents from the arbitrariness of Pristina radicals led by Prime Minister Kurti. Yeah, okay, sure. Well, Kosovo is a separate entity, and yeah, if you want to live in Kosovo, you probably should get Kosovo documents. The Kosovar leaders know that the Serbs will not. Wait. Oh my gosh, okay, so there is more, sorry. The Kosovar leaders know that the Serbs will not remain indifferent when it comes to a direct attack on their freedoms, and they deliberately escalate in order to launch a military scenario. Of course, Belgrade is also at the forefront of the attack, which the West wants to additionally neutralize with Kosovo Albanian hands. We call on Pristina and the US and EU behind it to stop provocations and respect the rights of Serbs in Kosovo. The statement reads, nothing new here, all clear. I'm honestly not even going to comment. That was what Russians said about Kosovo-Serbian conflict. The contingent of NATO and allies in Kosovo currently stands at 3,775 people, including 40 Ukrainians. Meanwhile, People's Deputy Honcharенko proposes to send the armed forces of Ukraine to Kosovo. I mean, we could use our armed forces in Ukraine, but if they feel like I don't know, we have enough, then maybe. But I think that's such a dumb idea. Evening address of the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. Today I want to thank every resident of Mykolaiv for their indomitability, for protecting the city and the region. I also thank Nikopol, Kharkiv, Kryvyi Rih, and the entire Dnipropetrovsk region, the strong people of Zaporizhia and the region, all Ukrainians of the Kherson region, everyone who defends the approaches to Odessa and the region. Thank you for your courage. Strategically, Russia has no chance of winning the war, and it is necessary to hold on so that even at the tactical levels, the terrorist state feels its defeat. It is necessary to hold on in the south, in the east, and everywhere. Hold on to defense, diplomacy, and politics, to preserve our unity, and not only before the victory, but also after it. In order to qualitatively restore everything destroyed by the occupiers, I believe that we will do all of this. Thank you. Well, here's the thing, Stephen. My thing is that I just don't know if we have enough armed forces of Ukraine to send them to Kosovo. I think that while we are at major war and while we're outnumbered in the east, and we don't know what's going to happen today, tomorrow, the day after, I don't think that it's a smart decision to take armed forces of Ukraine from somewhere where they're stationed right now and send them to Kosovo. I think, yes, we should totally support Kosovo and we should totally send our armed forces there at some point. Thank you. We should definitely send them there at some point, but I don't think we can afford to take any of our armed forces and send them at the moment because we are at war, at major, major war. Thank you, Jeremy. There is a large scale air raid alert in Ukraine. Updated. There are 40 Ukrainians are there. 3,775 people, including 40 Ukrainians. There is a large-scale air raid alert in Ukraine. They report the threat of launching 8 to 10 missiles from the waters of the Black Sea. Update: information about 8 missiles has not been confirmed, but there was at least one launch. One second, guys. I have 23 updates left. Let's finish those updates and then let's talk about Kosovo. We don't, we're at war. We called our peace missionaries back to UA for a reason. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I thought that you meant like, oh, I don't think it's a bad idea. And I'm like, no, it is a horrible idea. But also, let's talk about Kosovo and Serbia and what I think about that in a minute. Let me just finish the news updates and then I'm happy to answer all the questions because I keep getting distracted and it's already midnight and we're over 2 hours of newscast. Harvest day for the Ukrainian armed forces: -4 invaders bases and 2 ammo depots per day. President of Serbia Vučić speaks on television. His statements on the channel will be a little later. Meanwhile, there is an opinion that the Serbia-Kosovo conflict is beneficial to Moscow in order to divert attention from Ukraine. Russia has already been accused of fueling the conflict between the US and the EU. Meanwhile, the USA declared that in the case of the Serbia-Kosovo conflict, they would not directly intervene. Explosions in Kharkiv region and temporarily occupied Skadovsk are reported in Kherson region. The Prime Minister of Spain left Belgrade urgently. Full statement by Serbian President Vučić on the situation in Kosovo. Yesterday, we had talks with the representatives of the Serbian people from Kosovo and Metohija. Let's try to save the peace at any cost. Let's try again to ask everyone. I asked the Albanians to understand. I asked the Serbs not to give in to provocations and not to do anything that could lead to any kind of conflict. But I also asked the representatives of the powerful and big countries that have recognized the independence of Kosovo to take a little care of international law. Be careful with reality and not allow today's words to cause conflict. This is my request. This is my big request. And all I can say is that we will pray for peace and seek peace, but I will tell you right away that there will be no surrender and Serbia will win. We will seek peace, but Serbia will win. Cool. If they try to start prosecuting Serbs, bullying Serbs, killing Serbs, Serbia will win. That's all I want to say. That sounds like a threat. That sounds like a major threat, is what it sounds like. He's like, yeah, we're gonna look for peace, but I'm just gonna let you know, Serbia will win. What will Serbia win in peace? I mean, you're looking to try and establish peace, right? So why would you be talking about Serbia winning? What are they winning? Special forces of Kosovo continue to move to the border with Serbia. There is a lot of information about Kosovo and Serbia now. It is currently impossible to verify its authenticity. Let's take a break from the war. In Lutsk today flooded the streets after the rain. The city has turned into a small Venice. Forecasters on August 1st predict rain in the western, southern, and central parts of Ukraine. Look at this is what it looks like. Media reports a shootout at the borders of Kosovo. The air raid alert map expands to the western part of Ukraine. An air raid alert has been declared throughout Ukraine, exception temporarily occupied territories. Kosovo police reports shots fired in their direction. In the photo, the situation at one of the checkpoints. I need to close this out because, okay, here. Let me do this, I'll show you. Kosovo police reports shots fired in their direction. In the photo, the situation at one of the checkpoints. Thank you, Tabby Cat. See, this is what it is. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić urgently arrived at the General Staff Building. Gunfire is reported near the Brnjak crossing on the border between Kosovo and central Serbia. NATO troops in Kosovo are on high alert. There are about 5,000 of them. According to preliminary information, Vučić began negotiations with representatives of KFOR in the General Staff Building. Kosovo Force is an international force led by NATO responsible for ensuring stability in Kosovo. K4 forces were created in accordance with the UN Security Council Resolution number 1244 and entered Kosovo on June 12, 1999. Police units in municipalities in northern Kosovo called for mobilization. It is also known that during the protests and blockade of roads in Kosovo, no one was injured, said the director of the health center in North Mitrovica. Hopefully you'll figure shit out. Don't have to come over there and fix shit again like we did in the 90s. Well, I mean, we didn't fix anything. To be fair, they were still there was still a conflict, it was just frozen. NATO member in Kosovo, K4 has said it is ready to intervene if the country's stability is threatened in northern Kosovo. K4 is prepared to intervene if stability is jeopardized in the north of Kosovo. Yeah. Briefly about what is happening in Serbia and Kosovo and how it all began. Ethnic Serbs live in the north of Kosovo who use Serbian documents and have Serbian citizenship. They have Serbian currency. Kosovo has been warning Serbia for more than 5 years that they will no longer recognize Serbian documents and car registrations. And on August 1st, this decision came into force. Now on the borders of provocation from time to time with shooting. Vučić asked the international community to influence the authorities of the unrecognized Kosovo, who passed laws restricting the rights of Serbs in autonomy. Vučić expressed hope that the situation in Kosovo would diffuse on August 1st. Media reports, no declaration of war or special operations. If there is new information, we will definitely collect it by morning. And now let's hope for a night without worries. More reassuring bedtime news. Nancy Pelosi has landed in Singapore. Then she will visit Malaysia, South Korea, Japan, from where, according to experts, she will calmly go home. The United States called on the Kosovo authorities to postpone plans to replace citizens' passports and license plates with Kosovo ones for a month. The media quoted U.S. Ambassador to Kosovo, Jeff Hominier. Breaking. Government of the Republic of Kosovo has announced that it has postponed the decision on reciprocity for license plates and ID cards until September 1st. The decision came after the meeting with the U.S. Ambassador in Kosovo, Jeff Hominier. The government of the Republic of Kosovo announced that it has postponed the decision to change license plates and ID cards until September 1st. A beautiful video about the beauty of our country and our heroes defending this very beauty. This is what it looks like. And this is the last thing that I have for you about Ukraine today. There we go. This is all the news I have for you for today. Hopefully that postponing of the Serbian documents being not recognized in Kosovo is going to help a little bit with the conflict and is going to maybe kind of stabilize the situation so we won't have to see another full-scale war start, at least for now, hopefully. And yeah. Oh, guys, I don't wanna answer. I'm gonna leave it up to your imagination. What did I have for supper? That's so interesting. I haven't heard that term in a while. My mom and I went and got like some like wraps with vegetables and pesto, and they were really good, and they were so much. And then I just had some chips, which is so funny. I got myself chips, quinoa chips, and they're cheddar chips, but they're not too heavy. I like them. My mom was like, "Why are you getting this?" And I was like, "Well, because I just want some chips. I normally don't like junk food, but this one is like made out of quinoa, and I think like the whole pack of these chips is maybe like 400 calories, and they're like barely. They taste like cardboard, but I like it. I like the cardboard." And so I'm eating these chips, and I was like, "Give me some." And she's like, "Give me some." And so she gives me this like plate. I put some chips in there. So basically, I end up putting half the thing of chips in there, and she eats half of the thing in my chips. And then while I'm eating my chips from the bag, she consistently keeps taking. I'm sorry. By Fanasi Karim, we need more Ukrainian female refugees. Do you understand how incredibly fucked up that statement is? What are we, objects? No, I hope that less people are gonna have to become refugees. What's wrong with you? But so yeah, so basically, what was I saying? My mom ended up eating like more than half of the chips because she kept just like adding the chips to her like little bowl. And I was like, okay, so I ended up eating less chips. And sure. I don't know what those chips were, but they were really good. I mean, like, I'll show you what they were. 1 second. I think that I've never had these before, but I actually really liked them. The quinoa chips. See, they're really good. I actually really like them. They're the Daily Crave. I've never seen these before, but I tried them out. They're really good. I really enjoyed them. Yeah. Yeah, cardboard snacks, exactly. They're very good. I highly recommend. Yulia wore mom and Cindy out today. Yulia did kinda. Yulia had a nap today during the day. Also, Carrie, if you're still here, I'm gonna right after this live, I'm gonna link the deodorant for you, the one that I was talking about. Also, guys, those of you who just followed, those of you who just joined, this is my backup account. My main account is Yulia without it, and that's where I always do lives, and that's where I post a lot of videos. I'm very active in there, but my live access is suspended until August 3rd. So I'm on this account only until August 3rd. This is my backup when something happens. And also I have a YouTube and a Twitch that is also Yulia without it. So if you prefer those platforms, you could move over there and you can follow me there. I post a bunch of different stuff on there, and all of the newscasts are recorded, and all of the newscasts are recorded, and you can rewatch them there if you missed the newscast, or I don't know if you want to see the news from like a while ago. We usually do the news talk chat, also explain, like, talk on different, about different things. So this is what it is. Please, this is what it looks like. Hi, Larissa. Okay, guys, I am exhausted. It's 12:30. I walked like 25,000 steps today. I am dying. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna go. I love Japanese food. I love Japanese food, and I don't mean just sushi. I mean, like, I love Japanese food. My former roommate was Japanese, and I love her, and she, like, I love Japanese food. But yes, I need to go. I need to go. Also, I need to figure out. Oh yeah, thank you. It is my birthday month, but it is my birthday in 7 days. But I need to go. I'm gonna do a fundraiser tomorrow. Thank you, Pamela. I'm gonna do a fundraiser tomorrow, and then I'm going to ask Aaron, and Aaron agreed, but I need to send him details, and I want to ask Aravosis to join. I'm going to do a birthday week fundraiser for Ukraine, and I want to try and raise $10,000 for different thermal imaging devices for Ukraine, like night vision devices. So if you guys are interested, tomorrow morning I will post I will explain it on the live, but also I will post like a link in my bio where to donate, to do, like, I'll do it like a, like an internet donation campaign thing, I guess. And yeah, very determined creep, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, good night. Happy birthday month and week to me, I guess. And hopefully we can raise $10,000 for Ukraine, because that would be amazing. All right, guys. Bye. I'm going to end YouTube. Bye, Maria. Bye, everyone.